Then. So good morning, everybody. I've done my homework and made sure that Maurizio didn't catch me out with the famous "Did you watch the video on Friday" update. So
Yeah. By the way, did you watch the video on Friday?
I did, yeah,
All
and I
right,
can
good.
say that the market on Monday is the opposite to what we were looking for with bullish confirmations.
That was good. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. Like, obviously, that's one of those things that is discretionary. But I'm glad that played out exactly like we planned on Friday. We were very close to actually enter positions, but they weren't. I'm gonna go in detail why we didn't, which I'm happy we didn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
happy we stay cool. But yeah, um,
Isn't it interesting that we're in this range, I mean, I see the range as about sort of 89 to about 94 as a maximum. But isn't it interesting that that kind of 93 level is the annual close, and it does fall in line with the 4-year cycle, and this 4-year cycle still seems to very much be here and seems to be working within its kind of boundaries, whilst it's
uh,
modifying and the market is maturing.
yep.
But it's interesting. It's
Is
interesting.
it? Yeah.
So to me, that's quite a potentially dominating factor for this month. We're in this range. We're going down. We're going up. We're going down again. Will we go up again? Will we keep doing this and just consolidating until the end of the year? So could it be January before we even get any kind of real market direction? Because things are just like, well, I think
Yeah.
Scott once said, if you look at the charts and they're confusing, you're probably in a trading range.
More than likely. I'll talk about it because I have some views. And that's kind of the only thing that we can do is like, you know, see what the price action is giving us and try to sort of create our thesis. And by the way, guys, I'm with a little bit of a cold. So if I have to sort of turn off my video and my audio is because I'm sneezing or coughing. My apologies. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Think there will be a Santa Claus rally. Well, I think we could probably count the weeks, couldn't we? Let's say that we perfectly go up and down in that trading range, then next week will be the 15th and we should be back up. Then there'll be the 22nd, we should be back down. And then, yeah, so you never know. You might get it just with the trading range playing out.
And it's one of those things that seasonality, like, you know, Q4 up, Q4, the October down, November, shit like that is not playing out. You know what I mean? So obviously
Mhm.
there's something that you can think about, have it in the back pocket, but don't make don't
Mm,
associate. The more you think that it's gonna be a Santa Claus rally, the more your brain is gonna look for upside
mm,
bias. And if and if it's not there, it's not there. And maybe you can so on every up move, you're gonna say, oh shit, there's the Santa Claus rally coming. And then you
mhm,
get, that's kind of the intricacies of having that seasonality in your head. So I tend not to, you know, uh get too attached to
mm,
it. It's hard
mm.
because it's that's what you see on Twitter. That's what you see. That's what everybody talks about. So yeah,
It's
just
true.
yeah.
So, um, correct me obviously if I'm wrong on any of these points, Maurizio. So, when we enter a bear market, what that technically means is that, say, Bitcoin is not going to make any more new highs. It can still rally, price can still go up, but it's not going to make those new all-time highs. And that's what makes it a bear market. Now,
But
historical.
let's quick. This is a very important aspect that I encourage everybody to have. Define bear market,
Um,
because for everybody,
Man, I would have to say a reduction in the total crypto market cap, money exiting.
all right, those terms they get thrown a lot, right? You see up market, bull market, bear market. I'm bearish, I'm bullish, but What's your definition of that? Are you bearish on a daily? Are you bearish on a monthly? Are you bearish on a weekly? What's the true definition of bear
Mm.
market? What is the true definition of a bull market? And it's different to you, it's different to me, and it's different to everyone. Make sure you define what is it. So because there's a lot of information out there, videos that we're in the bull market, we're in the bear market. What the fuck does that mean, man? Like, and until you don't define that,
Mm.
don't associate with any terms as well. So this is, you know what I mean? That's why I asked you in terms of,
Yeah,
I'm,
that's
I'm very,
interesting.
I'm very keen in terms of defining what's bull for me, what's bear for
Mm.
me. And you go through, we do the same thing every day, man. Like, I think you guys could see what my mind, my bias is.
Hmm.
Monthly, weekly, monthly, weekly, daily, and then when I do a scalping, less than that. Even down to 3 minute area, which I haven't shown you, haven't shown anyone here. But those are the main biases, right?
Hmm.
So definitions, are we bear on the monthly? Are we bear on the weekly? Are we bear on the daily? Now, are we bullish on, and so on and so forth. And
Mm.
when you start noticing that you bear on the daily, but you're monthly on the weekly, sorry, bear on the daily, bull on the weekly, more than likely becomes a range.
Mm.
And it's gonna be a time that we're gonna be bull in the weekly, bull in the daily, bull in the small time frame, and those are the times to go big. You know what I mean? Until then,
Mm.
we're you know what I mean? So that's kind of an easy way to define
Because
bullish and bearish
there's
structure.
times when you can be, but I think you said this, you can be macro bullish, but near side bearish.
Yep,
So does that
yep.
make it a bull market or a bear market?
Exactly. And
Mm.
then yeah, happens to me, man. Like, I'm not saying that, it happens to me that for instance, someone mentioned like the Christmas rally. Fuck, I'm waiting for it, right? Because I need to be
Mm.
prepared. But then if you start saying, okay, I'm bullish, every day that the market goes up, you say, fuck, this is now. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So obviously, trying to systemize your thinking is very important. It's hard when you're doing discretionary stuff, but then I'm sort of defining more clearly ways to go risk on and risk off,
Mm.
in terms of what we do, like long term stuff. And
Mm.
sometimes we think, you see at the monthly chart, and the monthly chart looks amazing, but then this week market tanks. That
Mm.
doesn't mean we break a structure on the monthly yet. So you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
those are opportunities to actually get position from that higher time perspective. You're right from the bullish side of things. So that's why we start top down, always, and start sort of figuring out where we at. At the moment, everything is a fucking mess. That's you know what I mean. Like, we are all over the place. So I have some ideas, but I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm never sure. Like, you cannot actually never sure. But you could see some confluence on different trends, different time frames, and then you start building your thesis. And more than likely, a lot of the big crypto traders or institutions, they look at the same bias, and then that's when they want to go in heavily, and that's what we need to capitalize on when it happens.
Wow.
Yeah, oh shit, man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I haven't got your job.
Dude, yeah, well, I love it, but then, yeah,
Mm.
it's just trying to define your biases, and make sure that you know what definition, because my definition could be completely wrong. And then if I
Mm.
know it's wrong, then I need to change my definition.
Mm.
But
Okay.
then if you don't define it, then you don't know you're right or wrong.
Mm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? That's kind of the way I see it. And the more I take that framework into a play, then
Mhm.
then
That's some
then
wisdom right there.
mm,
So on the flip side of this discretionary trading, which is ruthlessly yeah, soul crushing, is YF10. Who was at the YF10 presentation last week? Or I know that I've seen Michael Ritchie in the YF10 group. Todd, I don't know if I've seen you in there or not. Walt, you were there. Great stuff. Phil, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, so that is the the polar opposite of the stuff that Maurizio and hey Robert, that Maurizio and I talk about on the Monday, because effectively and Maurizio will say something very quickly on this in a minute, but Maurizio has got the parameters and all the jiggery pokery stuff all automated so that a list gets delivered. And then from that list, you can literally go, I'm taking this one, market, short, no leverage, go. Now, for sure, if you were to put a limit order on, that would save you, a multiple of three in the fees, if you know what I mean. And but the point is the basic system itself is just that. There's the list that's been put together. You put the short trade on, and then you come back in a couple of hours from there. Now, Maurizio and the others are doing optimization. When is the best time? When is this? The quants are running all the tests to figure stuff out. So it might be a case of hold it for 1 hour, hold it for 3 hours. When we open on the 18th, they'll have figured all of that stuff out. And something like that is a system that's built on an edge that you just grind away at. You just grind away. You just turn up each day and you do it. You don't look at it, don't fiddle with it. You don't have to press the button. The only decisions that you have to make would be decisions that you give yourself to make. And I was telling Maurizio at the start of the call, what I did is I put my trades on, and then when I looked at my trades, I tried to think about all the crazy ideas that I had when I didn't like what I was seeing. Oh, maybe I should put a stop loss here. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this. And I wrote them all down. And then I came back at the end of the 2.5 hours. And a lot of those coins that were here were then down here and in profit, if you know what I mean. And the ability to drive yourself mad, even with a rules-based system, is very easy. So hats off to you, Maurizio, for being on top of all of this discretionary stuff. But yeah, we open. So the YF10K is still half price at the moment. Okay, it's still half price at the moment. So I don't know how long that's going to last. You can look out for Scott's emails, email support if you want a link to get in. We open on the 18th, and that good-looking man at the top of your screen will be running the show and showing you all kinds of magic stuff.
That'll be fun, man. And because
Mm.
because one of the things is mechanical, systematical, and but that doesn't mean that we can use the information to do other kind of fun stuff as well.
Mm.
So, but then, if you just want to run the systematic thing, which I do
Mhm.
religiously. Why? Because I don't wanna I think you guys watched the presentation. Very, very important to split your trading into different buckets, right? We do it here at 100x. We do have a spot, we have leverage, we have the main coin, like long, you know what I mean? We have different types of areas because we have the FinRep, we have different buckets, right? Because if you're really, really good, then do one bucket, right? But you have to be really good, man. I'm not that good. So obviously having your portfolio across different systems, technically speaking, right? It will sort of take you to a different place. You know what I mean? Instead of actually, if you put all your money, it's like casino. You go to a casino, all your chips on black, roll it up. Might be lucky, right? But if you keep doing the same thing, it's gonna be one time that you're not gonna be lucky, and then you're gonna lose all your money, right? So
Absolutely.
take for instance what happened on October 11th, right? The liquidation thing. Okay,
Mhm.
fuck, man, like no one expected that, right? And I had a stop losses, never got trigger, gone. That 50% of my portfolio on the leverage side gone, done. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I still have my spot, I still have my other stuff, so still good, right? Take for instance what happened with FTX. A while back with FTX, I also another practice that I do is I split my money into different exchanges, right? When I was trading.
Mhm.
And that was a really good practice. I lost everything that I had on FTX, everything, right? But I still have the other two thirds. Unfortunately, I put more money than I should have on FTX. That's my bad. But at least you have. But then always sort of
They made it
diversify.
very attractive, FTX did. They made it
Dude,
very
man.
attractive for you to give them your money.
Shit, man. But anyway, that's just
Yeah, yeah.
side note.
No, that's really interesting because we spoke about this on this call maybe a few weeks ago when we said that, part of being a trader is to be able to say, okay, what are the market conditions right now? And what's the most suitable type of trading for that? And what skills have I got in relation to what that needs to be done? So, you know, as soon as you hear unquantifiable word bear market, people are like, oh, let's do shorting. So it's like, well, great. What setup are you going to go after? What time frame are you going to go after? Those are the next sort of questions to ask. So for something like shorting, you could say, I'm gonna long relief rallies and then short the ones that fail. And there should be plenty of them. That should be there should be a harvest of those type of trades. Can you do that? Have you got the skills? What do you need to learn to do that? Now, that's just an idea off the top of my head. Maurizio might do his scalping in a different way, looking for a different, and it's about an edge. What is the edge that you've actually got? And I think I posted in the YF10 group that article from James, um, the one I think it's the one about stop playing Djokovic at tennis, or maybe it's the how to make money as a random dickhead.
Mm.
And if you keep going back to those articles, they might seem a bit, what is this at first? But you keep going back to them, and they, like Maurizio does, they keep picking at your thinking. Like, are you trying to compete here against them? Because you're not going to win, you know. Um, anyway, there was a. No, it's all right. That was a completely random tangent. I'll stop myself there. So, last thing, Maurizio,
Yep.
the open interest, that is also not doing the things that we want it to do. I think it was spot CVD that we wanted to see more, uh, more new buyers coming in, but I just don't think we're seeing anything. I think we're down on price, down on aggregated interest.
So that's that. Let's get started. And obviously that let's go through a little bit of recap what I was looking on Friday, right? Because last week market looked really good, man. I was really tempted to open every sort of trade that I could think of, and then and then when I get that like that, it's like, oh shit, FOMO's kicking in. So this is yeah, that was Friday. So this is the candle that we saw on Thursday. Okay, that was Thursday. So I was, it looked pretty good. Like if we go in the replay mode, right, and then I'll show you what I was looking on Friday. Replay. Hold on, because this is really handy, by the way. If you got that's the weekly. Let me just go into the daily. And if you go, let's go replay. All right. This is really handy because when you actually see the market like this, that was the view that we had on Thursday. That looked good, man.
Mm,
Honestly, it looked pretty good. Don't you think so?
yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Straight shot up to the top. The pullback wasn't too aggressive.
we're still above this level,
Hmm. We're in the top half of the
stars
range.
stars aligned. So obviously this is the first thing price action now. However, we've been saying that these levels are very strong, very, very strong. This is something like the yearly open, the weekly level, a lot of confluence of different levels at this area, right? 94,000, give it a take. So in order to break, think about it from the perspective that in order for us to have a bull, like a break, we need a lot of liquidity coming through. We need a lot of buyers. We need people like, fuck, man, this is the bottom. It's now or never. That's kind of the type of thinking that we need here in order to have a bull run, don't you think? Or think
Mm.
about it from the perspective that every time there is a bull run, right? People say it's never going to come back. This is the time that this is the last time that Bitcoin is going to be at this price, or alts or whatever. Therefore, I need to buy, and that kind of psychology is the one that drives the market to the upside. Wouldn't you agree? So, with that being said, in order to break this, we need a lot of liquidity. We need buyers. Simple as that. We need buyers, right? Now, if we look at this just from the weekly, sorry, we are in a daily. If we look at this from the daily perspective, are we bullish or are we bearish? Now let's define that name, you know what I mean, in terms
Mm.
of what's your definition here? We're looking at the daily, are we bullish or are we bearish from
Well,
the daily?
based on the logic of Scott's very first thing that you ask yourself every day, is it a trend or a trading range? Then I would say it is a trend. So I would say that this is bullish.
It's a trend. Where do you see the bullish side of things? I'm curious.
Uh from that low, that spike down low, you know, we have a straight shot
Okay.
up from there for 4 or 5 days. We have a pullback, maybe to around 50%, and then we have a straight shot back up to the top of the range.
So this is the range that you're looking at, right?
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
Okay. So you say you were bullish.
Near term bullish,
Okay.
macro bearish.
All right. Now you open another can of worms.
Oh
Define.
dear.
I'm very picky on this because what's macro means to you.
Oh yeah.
All right. Because look at this. Okay. Macro, same thing, man. Make your definitions. Like, what macro means. Okay, is that macro bullish on a weekly? Macro is daily, macro is weekly, macro is monthly, macro
Is
is
it
yearly,
5 year?
macro is, 5 years, macro is 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and make sure that you define that before you actually see any fucking video out there. And with that mindset, then if they don't tell you what it is, then because a macro could be different for every single person on planet Earth. So
Mm.
if you sort of know your definition, right? And if you see a video that a thesis out there that sort of resonates with your thesis, with your definitions, then play it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I look. I'm not. I'm usually just looking at the internet, different accounts, different things, what people are doing, just to figure out where they make sense, how they do it, things like that, so I can build my own thesis. It's not that I'm building everything on my own. Obviously, you start getting the sense on your own after a while, but then that's kind of
Mm.
important. Always ask yourself, what the fuck does that mean? Macro, what I'm bearish, I'm bullish in which time frame? You know what I mean? So
Mm.
yeah. Sorry. Side note, man. And my apologies
No, no, this
for
is good. This is how we get there. I was just wondering if my answer would have been different if I'd inverted the chart.
yeah, there we go. I was going to go for it. So
Yay!
check this out. All right. So in my view, I don't know. This is my view only. We're still bearish, right? We're switching. Look at this. Look at this sort of pullback. We are on a pullback on a bearish structure from the daily perspective. Wouldn't you agree? Yes or no?
There we go. That's how you say it.
Okay.
Hmm.
And if you want to draw lines, to make it a little bit more sort of, wouldn't you agree that we are in a bearish channel on a daily, right? And we just pulling back towards breaking that channel on the daily?
I would agree with that, but then I would also naively say that breaking these channels is a bullish.
It could
Mm,
it could start a bullish. It could because that's how markets work.
mm,
Markets markets are think about from the perspective of markets. You have either a bull or a bear range.
hmm.
Then you have a range of accumulation, and then you have a trend. That's it. That's all the three sort of aspects of it. So in order for us to be bullish, we need to break the bearish structures, right? So that's
Hmm.
why market structures are really, really important. And a market structure, what it is when this bearish structure sort of switches towards the upside. So what that means is it could look like this,
Hmm.
right? It could look like that, right? Or it could look like this. Okay?
Yep.
Which one is it gonna be? Who the fuck knows, man? I don't
Yeah.
know. Now, what I was looking at on Friday, it was very close, man, very tempted, right? But now, if we go back and look at the CVD and uh, by the way, I'm looking at hype. I'm very close to open that trade on hype. Let me tell you. Why this is now loading. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this was Friday. Yeah, you take what day was Friday?
The fifth.
The 5th. All right, check this out on Friday. That was the 5th in the morning, right?
Hmm.
Look at the CVD. And the CVD basically, was down, man, completely down. Like this was no strength whatsoever. What that means is there's no one interested in buying at those levels. That's it, right?
Mm.
Oh, very, 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 very weak. So I say, fuck that. No, if it goes, it goes, and then I'll get a pullback. That's fine. But then very tough to get into these levels now. You know what I mean? Very tough because obviously there's no one. What you want to do is actually get with everybody's buying,
Hmm.
and if you get on the right side of the equation, then more than likely you're gonna be making money. If not, then you're gonna be against what main money is doing. And what main money is doing, what I mean is institutional trading or big buyers or big whales, they're not buying, man. No one is buying a spot, right? So this thing went down, man. I was, towards the end of the day, I was very almost open a short, you know what I mean? But then I did open a small short on my own account, and why? Because there's no strength, man, no strength whatsoever. You can actually marry that with ETH, right? Same thing. Everything was happening, no strength whatsoever on that day. So usually, that tends to actually just roll down. You know what I mean? It's easier for when it's not strength for leverage traders to just close their positions quickly, and then that's it. So, and lo and behold, what happened next day? Bang! This thing went down all the way down to 87, right? So that's kind of where we were. Okay, so that happened Friday. Now we have a different sort of week. Now with different outlook. So let's go through the weekly outlook first. So first of all, where you guys at? Do you guys think is this now the time to buy? Is this the time to sell? Are you going to wait? What's your thinking? I just wanna see where you guys at in terms of Bitcoin.
Mm. Well, if I can see that current weekly candle correctly. So if we go back, say 4 weeks, we had a weekly close above that. Oh, where are we now?
We just open the weekly. All right, this is the weekly.
Okay. Well, on the weekly time frame perspective, it appears, oh God, more bullish. It appears bullish that we had a weekly close within the range,
Mm-hmm.
but we still don't seem to have a definitive direction. Like to,
Correct.
I'd want to see a weekly close above that 93 or 94 level. And then
Ideally, yeah.
but then I'd want to wait another week and watch it retest. And then I find myself in this position of shit, I can't do anything for 2 weeks.
And if you look at the higher time frame, that's the way it is. So that's important that you say that, because at the end of the day, if you look to trade on the weekly, then you have to stand for long periods of time without doing anything.
Hmm.
Simple as that. And that's kind of the stuff that we try to do here in the 100X, because there's not all the time are opportunities. So we could stay like outside the market for like a month, you know what I mean? Until we start seeing something that actually lines up, right? And we tried to get some bottoms, when market was out, we got some profits, but taking the bottoms, so it's easier to get in on the trend. Yes, we're gonna miss a lot of price action, but if we're really on a bullish market, we definitely gonna get some part of the pie. You know what I mean? So that's kind of on a more relaxed way to see it, right? And not try to catch every single move, because if you mention, if you see from the weekly what you just said, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until we break, and then starts. Yeah, you're gonna miss from 91,000 all the way probably to 100,000, right? But then
Mhm.
you might buy a 105, and then this thing will go to 130. You get that gap, and you're not more sure, but the market is on a different mindset than when you're trying to actually catch that, bottom every single time, which could be very profitable if you do manage your size correctly. But if you don't, you could get stopped out several times, and then your money's gone. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the intricacies of knowing what game you're playing. Are you playing the catch the bottom game, or are you playing the trend game? You know what I mean? So that's kind of, and in which time frame you want to play that game. So obviously we mix between weekly and dailies just to catch this type of price action, give or take, right here, ideally, right? And
Mhm.
then ideally, if the market keeps moving up, so happy days, man. Start getting some profits. In but are we there yet? What do you guys think? Are we there yet? You gotta go blind and start buying everything right now? All right. No, 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 no. When do you guys think they're gonna be there? So if you guys say no, when do you guys think that Travis says 95,000? Okay. 1 week. Okay. Close over. Okay. Okay. Range bound for a while. All right. So one interesting thing about levels, right? About, for instance, someone mentioned 95,000. Yes, that's kind of the first signal that we might start going to the upside. So from that perspective, let's build a thesis, and this is something that I do on a daily basis. I build different theses, and then I'll start adding probabilities on which one is the most likely to happen. So first of all, 95,000 level. Yeah, I do like that level. So if we break that level, I'm talking about the weekly. So this has to do it on a weekly basis. I'm talking about this could happen in probably 2 or 3 weeks, right? Then from this perspective, right, we break. Now we do have a huge significant area right here, which is at the 105 level at this moment, which is the daily 200 EMA. Why daily 200 EMA? A lot of institutions, you can do 150, but that seems to be, in terms of EMAs, Ian, you ask me sometimes, which one is the best EMA? And my answer is I'll go with the basics, but then the best EMA is the one that holds the most price action.
Right.
That's it. So, and by the way, this is a weekly chart, and the yellow line, you could set it up as a daily 200 EMA. How do you do that? Let me just show you if you don't know how to do that. So you go inputs 200 EMA, but make sure that your time frame is 1 day. So this is not 200 time frames, which is 200 weeks. No, this is 200 daily real true EMA plotted on a weekly chart. Okay? So the daily EMA is a shorter time frame, so it's gonna move faster than the weekly. You know what I mean? So as long this seems to be holding, right? Seems to be holding here, seems to be holding here, but guess what? We just lost that trend right there. Okay, we just lost it. So from the weekly perspective, right? The next level that we need to watch to hold is this one, the 75,000, right? Can we do this? Bounce and start going back down and then do this? Is that a possibility?
It is.
Exactly. So this is one of my setups, like one of my theses. So from that thesis perspective, any bullish price action that I'm seeing, I'm gonna be very careful to start taking profits. So at that level, when Bitcoin gets there, and then assess how traders are looking at this price action, because we don't know. We don't know if at 105 we're going to have buyers, we're going to have sellers. We don't know. We don't know if at 95 Trump comes up and say, oh, you know what? Now we open crypto Bitcoin bank for every American to fucking deposit whatever, and then this thing now changes the perception, right? So until then, that's my play. You know what I mean? And I cannot tell you if we're gonna hit new highs or anything. But if we don't have any news, or if we just go by technicals, and the technicals are telling me that this could be a setup. You know what I mean? So perhaps short-term wise, play this game. Long-term wise, wait for this. Or, right, long-term wise, if price does this, then I play this game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because now we are in a bullish trend from the weekly perspective. Okay. See how I define the terms. I'm bullish on the weekly or bearish on the daily. And if you're telling yourself as well, fuck, I'm bullish on the weekly, then I need to wait for a week or 2 weeks. Then you know that what game you more likely to play. You know what I mean? So that's kind of from the macro. My macro perspective is also weekly and monthly. You know what I mean? But monthly is a tough game to play because, like, if you're good on the weekly, you don't need the monthly, because at the end of the day, the weekly sort of dictates the macro picture. You know what I mean of it. And then you start breaking things down from the weekly perspective, right? So obviously, it's slow, very slow, but you might start getting the big picture. You might start seeing why fucking price bounces back, why market makers want to inflate fucking coins that are illiquid. you see 100% gains and then another 100% drops the next day, because we are on this kind of environment at the moment. Now, let's go with another possibility I'm looking at, right? So if you have a look, we have a lower high here, lower high, and a potential lower high here, right? So we are definitely aiming towards a bullish trend. Would you agree? From the macro perspective or from the weekly perspective, right?
I would agree.
So it's looking good, man. Like I'm saying, market is looking good. Now, let's, this is option one, okay? Now, this is and I definitely encourage you to see both sides of the spectrum, right? You know what I mean? Don't go all bullish, don't go all bearish, don't go all range, don't go, the more neutral you become on a market, the easier for you will be to make money, because you don't fucking care if Bitcoin, what Bitcoin does, you will be prepared. But in order to do that, you need to be sure that you understand how to short and things like that. So, which probably, the YF 10K will give you ideas how to short, and you start exposing yourself and shorting and understanding how the price action to the downside works and shit like that, because it's a different psychology. Okay. Now, let's work out the second possibility. Okay. And I'm going to do, where is the, all right. I just flipped it. I'm gonna fuck up with everybody's head right now. Okay. So what do you see here? Now you were saying, Ian, this is very interesting. Let me bring this back to daily, right? And this is the daily inverted Bitcoin chart. What are you still seeing? So now, do you see a bearish or a bullish aspect here?
Is it a trend or is it a trading range? I would say that it's a downtrend.
Towards which side?
A downtrend towards the downside.
So remember that we have, so look at the chart.
Oh, it's upside down, isn't it?
I know. So
Yeah.
look at the chart and tell me, are you biased that this could do this? Ah, fuck, sorry. Are you biased that this could do this? Or are you biased that this could do this? Say number one or number two?
Number two.
How about you guys in the chat?
This is like being in that movie Inception with everything flipped.
All right. Okay, so if you guys answer number two, right, that could be an option. Who answered number one? Travis. Okay, Travis. All right. Let's go through that, because that's a possibility, right? That is a possibility. Why that could be a possibility, right? Now, we have those levels right there, and we have the 80,000 level. We just touched it on Friday. Okay, this level was touched on Friday, and then the next level is actually 74. Okay, so it's significant liquidity around that level there. See? Now, if we start breaking that level, right, the next sort of immediate level will be that 70 something thousand. Okay. Now, we'll start getting worried if we break the 73,000. Guess what? Next level around, yeah, give or take 50,000. Okay. Can that happen? What do you guys think?
The probability seems less. Like it's a 64.
Give me 55 reasons why. Now, tell me why you think is less. Uh, Honestly, an honest answer.
Um, this price action looks like it wants to carry on pulling back. That's the main thing, which means to the upside.
Okay,
Mhm.
why?
Is it because of the accumulation that it's done within that range to give it the
So, this is the stuff that I always ask myself. Why? Fuck, why? Why should I buy here? Why the price should hold there? Why? And if I do have an answer, then ideally, if I don't, then my edge is pretty weak. You know what I mean?
mm,
So it's like, fuck, why should I buy here? Why should I buy here? Why should I do this? Why? I always, start asking myself why. And then the more I answer the why, because CVD looks good. Shit, because leverage is there. Because we are in a good weekly area. Then my thesis starts getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You know what I mean? So
mm,
that's why I ask why. So if you do, because in my view, I don't have a why right now. This
mhm.
could do either or, especially with the CVD looking like this. That's it.
Clearly in a downtrend.
You know what I mean? Now, CVD is starting to getting some sort of reaction, but remember, this is the 30 minutes. This is the 30 minutes. Very very short time frame. Very very
Mm,
short time frame. Okay, but this is why. Why do I look at the short time frame? Because that gives me an idea where buyers are willing to buy from the spot perspective. If I go on the 4 hours and stuff like that, you don't get that 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 granularity. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in if I see buyers at that level. So for instance, right here this morning, probably yeah, a couple of hours ago, we had buyers at this level here, right?
mm,
Well, how do I know that we have buyers? Because there's a huge influx of buyers, right?
mhm,
So it looks like there's a level that is attractive. The 90,000 level is attractive for buyers. However, a few hours after, they just fucking went down again. Okay, so it's not sustainable. What I want to see is a sustainable level that buyers are constantly buying at. You know what I mean?
mm,
And ideally, can I be wrong sometimes? Can I be wrong? Yes, plenty of times that in price can go without me. Yes, because sometimes uh, the driver of the price moves are going to be leverage and not spot, and that's when I get fucked. I can, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
mm,
But then at some point, I'm gonna get into a trend. You know what I mean? Like it's a win-win situation in a way, but that's kind of how I'm looking at the market at this stage. Okay, so thoughts I would not rule out if dropping
mm,
to some well selling, but I think that BTC is too globally owned by big institutions and governments, so price I think it will be more held up than dropping and downside. Crypto is crypto. I know, yeah, exactly. So that's the good and bad thing about crypto, right? So to summarize where I'm at, right? Because gave you the sort of things, but I haven't said anything yet. We're in a 50-50 chance of either direction, right? In my view. Let me just reinvert the scale now. See how, man, I love inverting the scale because it fucks up with my brain and I can definitely see the real picture of it. Okay. So
mm,
these 2 days, and also something that I've been sort of saying, these 2 days here, these two candles are what is it? Fuck, weekend liquidity. So I don't tend to pen to to pay much attention, right? Because obviously this is weekend price action that it could be very illiquid. So if I see big dumps or big pulls, then it's sort of not that relevant. So this level for me doesn't become that relevant. Now the next relevant level could be this one here, the 80,000 again. So if we retest that, then I'll be looking to get to buy. Okay. Why buy? Because my weekly bias is bullish. All right. Still, my weekly bias is bullish and my daily is bearish. And I'm looking to probably get good places to buy in until I reach the 200 EMA, which is basically the same thing that I told you on the weekly, but now on the daily, you get more information. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's kind of the game that I'm waiting for. You know what I mean? So right now, I'm not, it could be 50-50. I'm not seeing anything unless if I start seeing a lot of CBD playing through, levels coming through, then I'll start buying. You know what I mean? Otherwise, but then be very careful at this level here. You know what I mean? Because we're still from the daily, we're still bearish kind of on a daily on a daily structure from October. We're still bearish, kind of, right? So weekly up, daily a little bit down. But this could be a really good opportunity if we get the 80K. You know what I mean? Like if we get another test to 80K, and that could be, but bear in mind that if we do get those trades, don't risk too much. Still, when do you go risk on? When you see trending, when we're trending, then you can risk a little bit more of the account, and that's when we capitalize on it. But until then, we're still playing catch up. You know what I mean? We're still playing that we're going to reclaim the daily trend, and if we do, then happy days, man. We're gonna have the daily, the Christmas rally, all the crap, yada yada. And maybe we do have but it could happen this month. It could happen next month. It could happen February. It could happen April. This could range. Range is a range until the range is over. And then when is the range over? When the price action breaks. That's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And you have no idea when. Could be tomorrow, could be in 2 weeks, right? Excuse me, just 1 second.
Yeah. Incredible. What a session.
All right. Sorry about that. So with that being said, that's my plan for Bitcoin. Now let's jump into things that I'm looking. So on that note, what if we start, getting a local bottom on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin starts breaking above, what are the opportunities on alts? So this is my favorite list right now, right? So we have Link, very good price for Link. If crypto comes back, I think Link is a very good trade or hold, especially on spot, perhaps. Sui, I'm still looking to get into. This is a trade that I was thinking on Friday. I did not, because right now everything is so freaking correlated to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin drops, everything else is gonna drop. So have that in mind. Even though Sui came out from the bottom, I think 18%, something like that, 32%, right? I'm still, if Bitcoin decides to go down, I think we could potentially get better prices than Sui. Dip, same deal. Look at this. Arrow, same deal. Ina, same deal. I'm still looking to get into that one. Hype is my favorite for today, to be honest. It went out, it went down, it broke this level. So it looks like a deviation, but everything depends on Bitcoin. I'm looking at YB. So YB, I did talk about it on Friday. So this is a brand new protocol. It's like a yield protocol. Very interesting perspective in where you can actually put Bitcoin and get yields. And so I'm tracing this one because it's getting a lot of traction. So I'm looking at this trade as well. Uh, from the privacy perspective, right? SEC now everything looks the same. You can actually see that everything looks the same. Mantle, you know, everything is almost ready, but things could go like if Bitcoin drops all the way down to 80, I think we definitely could get better prices. Filecoin, funny enough, it's been very strong. So Filecoin is been in the, from the relative strength perspective, if we look at the spaghetti charts here, Filecoin is being pretty okay. So I'm interested in getting on that as well. So that's it, man. So same list that I've been talking about the whole week. Those are my favorite lists at the moment. So yeah, but I still haven't opened any trades due to the fact that obviously if Bitcoin comes down, everything's gonna come down with it.
Awesome. Well, that seems a great place to end. And everybody keep your eyes peeled for updates from Maurizio and the group.
Before that, Jeff is asking at 80K, are you buying spot or leverage? Jeff, I think I'll do both. So with leverage, you need to understand what type of trade you be looking at. So if price comes down at 80, right? Then you need to ask, if you're going to do leverage, you need to ask yourself where you're going to place your stop loss and size accordingly. If you do a spot, you don't need to worry about that, but then 80 could be a really good buy, or even 75 dollars, because price could keep going down and then the leverage trade will be fucked, but then you're still holding the spot. So yeah, just the last question. That's it.
Nice.
All right,
Get
guys.
well soon.
Thank you.
Ta-da,
See you guys.
everyone.